Hello and welcome. Today's update is important for millions of Americans who rely on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI each month. If you are retired, living with a disability, or helping a family member who depends on these benefits, this is information you truly need to understand. The Social Security SSI and SSDI increase has now been confirmed, and January payment dates are clearly defined. In this first part, we are going to walk calmly and clearly through what has been confirmed, why these increases matter, how they affect real monthly checks, and what seniors and disabled Americans should realistically expect as the new year begins. Let's start with the most important point right away. Social Security benefits, including retirement, SSDI, and SSI, are increasing due to the annual cost of living adjustment. This adjustment exists to help benefits keep up with rising prices for everyday necessities like groceries, housing, utilities, and medical care. Over the past year, inflation has affected nearly every household, but it has hit seniors and people with disabilities especially hard because many live on fixed incomes. The confirmed increase is meant to provide some relief, even though many people still feel that costs are rising faster than their checks. This increase applies differently depending on the type of benefit you receive. For retired workers, the increase raises the monthly benefit amount based on your existing payment level. For SSDI recipients, the adjustment works in the same way because SSDI is part of the Social Security system. For SSI recipients, the increase affects the federal benefit rate, which is the base amount set by the government. Some states also add their own supplements to SSI, and those state payments may or may not increase at the same time depending on local rules. Now let's slow down and explain why this January increase is so important. January is the month when the new benefit amounts officially begin. Even though the increase is calculated earlier, the higher payment is first reflected in January checks. For many people, this means January is the first time they will see a slightly larger deposit or check compared to December. This is especially meaningful after the holiday season, when many seniors may have spent extra money on heating, gifts for family, or travel. Another key point that causes confusion every year is the difference between SSI payment timing and Social Security payment timing. SSI payments are usually issued at the very beginning of the month. When the first day of the month falls on a weekend or a holiday, SSI payments are sent earlier. This can sometimes make it feel like payments are coming twice in one month or skipping a month, even though the total yearly amount remains the same. Understanding this schedule is essential so that people can budget properly and avoid unnecessary stress. Social Security retirement and SSDI payments follow a different schedule. These payments are generally sent based on the beneficiary's birth date. People born early in the month receive their payments earlier, while those born later receive them later. This staggered schedule helps the system run smoothly, but it can also lead to confusion when people compare payment dates with friends or family members. It is important to remember that different payment dates do not mean different benefit amounts or special treatment. The confirmed increase also affects people who receive multiple benefits. Some individuals receive both Social Security and SSI, although the SSI portion is usually reduced because Social Security counts as income. Even so, the increase still matters because it can slightly change the balance between the two payments. For people who receive SSDI and later transition to retirement benefits, the increase applies as well, since both programs are adjusted together under Social Security rules. One of the most common questions seniors ask is whether this increase will truly help with rising living costs. The honest answer is that while the increase does help, it may not fully cover all expenses. Prices for food, rent, property taxes, insurance, and medical services have risen significantly in many areas. The adjustment is based on national inflation data, which does not always reflect local realities. That is why it is so important for beneficiaries to plan carefully, review their budgets, and make informed decisions about spending. Another important topic is how this increase interacts with Medicare. Many Social Security recipients have their Medicare Part B premiums deducted directly from their monthly checks. When benefits increase, Medicare premiums can also change. In many cases, the increase in Social Security is partially offset by higher Medicare costs. This does not mean the increase disappears entirely, but it does mean that the net amount deposited into your bank account may be slightly less than expected. Understanding this helps prevent disappointment and confusion when January payments arrive. For SSI recipients, the increase can also affect eligibility for other assistance programs. Programs like SNAP, housing assistance, and Medicaid often use income limits. A higher SSI payment could, in some cases, slightly change eligibility or benefit levels. This does not mean people will automatically lose help, but it does mean it is wise to stay informed and report changes accurately when required. Keeping records and reading official notices carefully is a simple but powerful way to protect your benefits. January is also a time when Social Security sends out annual benefit notices. These notices explain the new monthly amount, any deductions, and the date payments are expected. It is extremely important to read these notices slowly and carefully. Many people overlook small details that explain why their payment changed by a certain amount. If something does not look right, it is better to ask questions early rather than assume there has been a mistake. This confirmed increase also brings renewed attention to long-term financial planning. Even small increases can add up over time, especially when combined with careful budgeting. Seniors are encouraged to review their monthly expenses, prioritize essential needs, and avoid unnecessary financial risks. Scams often increase during times of benefit changes, with fraudsters pretending to offer help or bonuses. Remember that legitimate agencies do not ask for personal information through unsolicited calls or messages. As we move through this first part, the key takeaway is simple. The Social Security SSI and SSDI increase is real, confirmed, and beginning with January payments. It is designed to help beneficiaries keep up with the cost of living, even if it does not solve every financial challenge. Knowing how the increase works when payments are sent and how it affects other benefits gives you power and peace of mind. In the next part, we will go deeper into January payment dates, explain specific timing scenarios, discuss common misunderstandings, and share practical tips for managing your benefits confidently as the new year begins. Understanding these details can make a real difference in how smoothly your finances start the year and how secure you feel moving forward. Now let's continue and focus more closely on January payment dates, common misunderstandings that often cause worry, and practical steps seniors and people with disabilities can take to stay financially stable as these increased payments begin. This part is especially important because many people feel anxious every January, wondering exactly when their money will arrive and whether the amount will be correct. January payment timing is one of the biggest sources of confusion for SSI, SSDI, and Social Security recipients. For SSI recipients, the payment is normally issued on the first day of the month. However, when the first falls on a weekend or a federal holiday, the payment is sent earlier. This means some people may receive their January SSI payment in late December. Even though it feels early, this is still the January payment, not an extra one. Understanding this prevents unnecessary panic later in the month when no additional SSI deposit arrives. For Social Security, retirement, and SSDI beneficiaries, January payments follow the standard birth date-based schedule. Those born between the 1st and 10th of the month usually receive their payment in the second week of January. Those born between the 11th and 20th typically receive it in the third week, and those born after the 20th usually receive it in the fourth week. This system has been in place for years, but it still causes concern when people compare dates with others and think something is wrong. The timing difference does not affect the amount you receive. Another issue many people worry about is whether January payments include back pay or bonus amounts related to the increase. In most cases, the January payment simply reflects the new adjusted monthly benefit. It does not include extra retroactive payments unless there was a specific delay or correction. If your payment seems lower or higher than expected, it is usually due to deductions like Medicare premiums or changes in withholding, not because the increase was missed. It is also important to understand that taxes can play a role for some beneficiaries. While SSI benefits are not taxable, some Social Security retirement and SSDI benefits can be taxed depending on your total income. The increase itself does not automatically mean you will owe taxes, but it can slightly change your overall income picture. Seniors who have other income sources, such as pensions or part-time work, may want to keep track of these changes carefully to avoid surprises later in the year. Budgeting becomes especially important when a new benefit amount starts. Even a modest increase can be used wisely if planned correctly. Many seniors find it helpful to prioritize essential expenses first, such as housing, utilities, food, and medical costs. Once those needs are covered, any remaining amount can be set aside for emergencies or future expenses. This approach helps turn a small increase into long-term stability rather than short-term spending. Healthcare costs deserve special attention. Prescription drugs, doctor visits, and medical equipment continue to be major expenses for older adults and people with disabilities. January is often a time when insurance plans reset, deductibles start over, and costs can temporarily feel higher. The benefit increase may help offset some of these expenses, but it is still wise to review coverage and understand what services are included to avoid unexpected bills. Another common concern is whether receiving the increased payment could affect eligibility for other programs. For many people, programs like SNAP, Medicaid, and housing assistance are essential. These programs have income limits, but small increases do not automatically disqualify recipients. Still, it is important to report changes accurately when required and keep copies of all notices. Being proactive can prevent disruptions and ensure continued access to vital support. January is also a time when scams increase significantly. Fraudsters know that benefit changes create confusion and fear. They may claim to offer faster payments, bonus checks, or protection against benefit cuts. Remember that legitimate agencies do not ask for personal information, fees, or bank details through unsolicited calls, emails, or messages. Staying cautious protects not only your money, but also your identity. Another practical step seniors can take is to review direct deposit information. Ensuring that bank details are correct and up to date helps prevent delays. For those who receive paper checks, being aware of mailing times and possible weather delays is important, especially during winter months. Planning ahead can reduce stress if a payment arrives a day or two later than expected. For people who help manage benefits for a spouse, parent, or loved one, January is a good time to check records together. Reviewing benefit notices, understanding payment schedules, and discussing budgeting plans can strengthen trust and reduce misunderstandings. Clear communication within families helps everyone feel more secure and prepared. It is also worth remembering that Social Security benefits are a foundation, not a complete solution for most people. The increase helps, but it does not eliminate the need for careful financial planning. Seniors who are able may consider community resources, senior assistance programs, and local support services that can help stretch monthly income further. Even small savings on utilities or groceries can make a meaningful difference over time. As January moves forward, patience is important. Payment systems process millions of transactions, and occasional delays or errors can happen. If something seems wrong, it is better to wait for official notices and verify information calmly rather than panic. Most issues can be resolved with proper documentation and clear communication. To bring everything together, the confirmed Social Security SSI and SSDI increase is a positive and meaningful step for millions of Americans. January payments reflect this increase and follow established schedules that, while sometimes confusing, are consistent and reliable. Understanding how payment dates work, how deductions affect net amounts, and how to budget wisely allows beneficiaries to make the most of their benefits. As we close this update, remember why this information matters. These benefits represent stability, dignity, and support for older adults and people with disabilities. Staying informed helps you protect what you have earned and plan with confidence. By understanding the increase, knowing your January payment timing, and managing your finances thoughtfully, you can start the year with greater peace of mind and a stronger sense of control over your future.